Now we go to the late game, the game that as of a few hours ago I thought was the early game, and I was very happy to be wrong. I haven't been that happy to be wrong about something in a long time. Bengals Chiefs under the lights at Arrowhead. Maybe there'll be a little snow in the air. Who knows? It would be fitting for this one, especially since they tried to put this game indoors in Atlanta, and it would have been if it had been Bills Chiefs. Right now, we've got the Chiefs as 1-point favorites. Earlier today, I think it went back to even. Pete, you may want to check that. Check BetMGM. Whatever BetMGM has right now, we'll go with. It's even now? Is it even, Pete? Is that Pete talking to me?
I think it's Chiefs 1. It was even earlier. It went farther to the Chiefs.
Still.
Yeah.
All right,
it went, yeah.
Right now, it's a liquid market. Right now, the Chiefs are 1-point favorites. So it was Kansas City minus 2.5. It swung to the Bengals minus 1. Now it's Chiefs minus 1. And that was the way it was yesterday. Some of the markets are back to straight up. We're going to go with Chiefs minus 1 for today's purposes. So, as I did with the other game, Chris, I give you blank slate, clean check, or clean slate blank check, whichever the case.
I like it. A little Simmsism there. I like it.
What do you want? I've been hanging around you way too much, and it's the secondhand smoke from Friday night. Where do you want to go on this one?
Well, I guess let's start with the Bengals O and the Chiefs D, right? And go there first, right? And again, these games have been awesome. They've been close as hell, right? It's a little bit been just like who has the ball last almost wins the game to a degree. In the three matchups, I mean, again, and Pete, you could correct me, or Mike, correct me if I'm wrong here, but the Chiefs were winning in the fourth quarter in all three matchups. And, and again, it was 21-3 in the AFC Championship game. The regular season matchup last year, I think it was 21-7 and 28-14 at one point. The Bengals still won. And, of course, this year, I think it was 24-17 Chiefs at one point, early fourth, late third. So I might be off there a little bit. But, with this, and where did I say I was going to start? With the Chiefs D and Bengals O, right? Yes, that's where I said.
Whatever you said doesn't matter. Go wherever you want to go.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is just like, can the Bengals offensive line do what it did last week? I think that's why, I couldn't pick them to win the game because of what we saw the weeks before that, where I went, man, this offensive line couldn't block Baltimore for shit. They couldn't run. They couldn't pass protect. They couldn't do anything. And on the road in Buffalo, again, I don't think any of us saw that coming. There's a reason Vegas had Buffalo as a 6-point favorite at home because they went, holy shit, the Bengals offensive line's back to the way it was with Joe Burrow his rookie year. But then they come out and play their best game of the year. So that's where I don't know what to expect. The one thing I do know, though, is the Chiefs' D-line is better than the Bills' D-line. Definitely. 100%. So they pose more problems for them there. So that's the first thing. Can Chris Jones get off in this football game? The first matchup, Alex Kappa was all over him and blocked him by himself, and it's really like the only guy in football I've seen block him by himself with that kind of success. Alex Kappa, yeah, it doesn't look like he's playing. Or Jonah Williams. So, how much does the Chris Jones factor become an issue? But the biggest thing, Mike, is what we broke down on PFT today for me in this part of the matchup. The Chiefs D has to be more expansive and diverse, and they have been towards the end of the year. But in the previous matchups with the Bengals, we showed some clips right this morning on PFT if anybody wants to go back and watch it, where, the Chiefs formula versus Joe Burrow has either been like blitz, all-out blitz to where, okay, wait, we don't have enough blockers and I just got to get it out quick, and he's good at that, or they would just say, hey, crazy disguise, and then we end up in some form of cover 2. Lots of different versions of it, but still cover 2. But within that, like I've explained to you before, the Bengals then just go, wait, okay, it's an all-out blitz game, and it's a cover 2 game. And they can get to all their cover 2 plays that all work against Tampa 2-man, quarters, quarter, half, whatever kind of 2-deep defense. And that's just, Joe Burrow's too good. Like Mahomes or Josh Allen, if you just play the same coverages all the time, they're going to be like, oh, okay, it's that one again. Okay, boom. And they're going to be surgical. And Burrow's the best zone quarterback in football. The Chiefs, when they got down 14-3 in the matchup this year earlier, they started to go outside. They went creativity. They went to start doing some exotic type things. And it gave the Bengals offense some issues. That's my big thing, Mike. They can't sit there and just go blitz or cover 2. It's got to be, hey, double chase and play man. Hey, we're playing zone, but we're playing man on one guy. They got to change up the looks, send some blitzes every now and then, because if Burrow gets too comfortable like we saw in the second half last year in the AFC Championship game or the game earlier this year, it's just going to be slow death for the Chiefs defense. And to me, that's something I really look at that they got to change up a little bit.
Yeah, look, I agree with what you're saying. And here's the reality.
Yeah.
The Bengals offensive line did hold up well against the Bills, and I expect them to hold up well against the Chiefs, in part because Burrow gets rid of the ball so quickly.
Right.
He understands that the clock moves faster when you don't have the same level of protection you otherwise would have. And he's fearless. He stays in there and takes the hit. He doesn't do the Tom Brady duck and cover move that we saw result in an interception that really kind of made the game over before it was officially over that Monday night to start the to end the wild card round. Excuse me. So I think the Bengals offense will be fine. I think the ability of Joe Mixon to run hard, even with 60% of the starting offensive line gone, helps balance out. We talked about that last week. Yes. Joe Mixon needs to have a good game to allow the Bengals to operate their offense, and he did, and I think he'll have another one. They thrive in these moments. They love these moments. They live for this. And the more the Chiefs feel determined and driven and compelled to win this game, I think the Bengals just, they love doing this. They love going on the road in the postseason. They love beating the Chiefs. They're not freaked out by the moment. Joe Burrow rises to the occasion, and the more he's doubted, because we're thinking, the Chiefs are due. The Chiefs are due. And maybe it's gotten so much people talking about the Bengals expected to win that the Chiefs are going to get motivated.
I think there's a little bit of that
stew of determination and motivation. And, if I'm a member of the Chiefs, I'm like, what the
Yeah.
I mean, what else do we have to do? Well, it would help if you could beat the Bengals under Joe Burrow. That would help.
Well, that's right.
I think that both teams are going to be motivated. Both offenses are going to be motivated.
Right.
I think this could be a high-scoring, exciting game because the offense is going to be driven to go out there and just move the ball. And I think the Bengals will be able to move the ball against the Kansas City defense because, number one, Joe Mixon will be able to run it, and number two, Joe Burrow will get rid of it quickly.
He will.
Then you got all those receivers, the three receivers and Hayden Hurst. Somebody's going to be open. He's going to know. He's gotten to the point where usually you got to be in your 30s for this.
Exactly.
Where you look at the defense and you know what's going to be there. He already knows what's going to be there in only his third season.
Yeah, that's where I was trying to kind of say that before as far as him being like a game manager or whatever. He just knows how to play the game to win the game, to win the game. He's not always into like, oh, wait, this will be an awesome play and highlight and great throw if I fit this down there in the first quarter for a 30-yard gain. He'll sometimes you'll go, oh man, I should have thrown that. But he's also going, no, I'm just going to keep us in a good down and distance, not take that chance. It might be an interception. Ooh, I don't like it. He doesn't push the envelope until he has to. And that's, I think, exactly what you're kind of trying to say. He's showing a maturity that you don't usually see from a young quarterback. I'll echo a point you've heard me say through the year. The Bengals offense is simple, but they have great talent at the skill positions. And something I've tried to say on the podcast, and Tony Romo said it in the fourth quarter of the game, and I know you've heard me say this already, Mike, but, that's why the diversity of your defense is crucial against the Bengals. Because once they figure out how you're playing, that's what they did last week. They were motioning people against the Bills, and they figured out they had a great feel, and they knew how the Bills were going to adjust to certain motions, and then they ran the ball into looks that were like, oh, wait, the nickelback has to stop the C-gap run with a pulling guard. Well, the nickelback's not going to win that. It's a cover 2 game, and then they get to even though they're kind of basic and they lack creativity, they're still right schematically on how they attack, how they're being played. You can't do it. You got to take a little risk every now and then. And I showed the play during PFT today where they doubled Jamar Chase. They got to do that every now and then. They got to dabble in man-to-man coverage every now and then. They got 3 corners who are supreme athletes. They don't want to live in man-to-man, but I think they got to take a chance every now and then. And then to that point, you could crowd the line of scrimmage a little every now and then to where Joe Mixon doesn't go off. So we'll see what they do. Again, it's hard to say some of those stuff, and you want to play man, and do some of those aggressive things. But then the first time you get beat by Jamar Chase for a 50-yard bomb, you go, shit, I don't know if I want to call man again the rest of the day. So I'm very excited to see how the Chiefs attack the Bengals offense.
Yeah, I agree. And I still have faith in Burrow.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to move the ball, and they're going to score points. The question is, will they score enough? So we flip it over to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Can the Chiefs score enough? Can the Chiefs score more? The Patrick Mahomes injury, we know about it. Supposedly a high ankle sprain, but he's moving around fine. And, we're always looking for what may be happening next level. Like, did he will himself to walk normally to throw us all off the trail? Why didn't he limp? And, that's the ultimate rope-a-dope. Yeah, why isn't he wearing a walking boot? I mean, really, if he's fine, why wouldn't you wear a walking boot to the podium? Why wouldn't you limp off the podium to make the Bengals think you're going to be impaired, and then all of a sudden you're Superman on Sunday? So it's weird how it's all playing out. If he truly had a high ankle sprain, it's odd to see him out there running around doing things in practice, but he looks fine. That doesn't mean he's going to be able to do the stuff that makes him so special when he's running with the football in panic mode, as he explained it to me back in December, the same day they beat the Texans, and he threw that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar crossbody hook shot, which he says he just morphs into panic mode and things happen, and usually it's good things. So I don't know what to expect from Mahomes, but what do you expect from the Chiefs offense generally, knowing that Mahomes at least isn't 100%. Even if it's 99, he's still not going to be 100%.
Yeah, you're right. I think the biggest thing, or the thing I feel confident is, he's not going to be able to run outside the pocket and then have somebody chase him and wheel back around the other way and then break somebody's act like that. I don't think we're going to see that. No. But the aspect of that, and is one thing that I know is the Bengals don't let quarterbacks do that. Josh Allen couldn't do it last week. Mahomes really hasn't been able to do it in any of the matchups against the Bengals. They are very good at understanding how to keep quarterbacks in the pocket. His movement within the pocket is the most important thing to me. Like we saw in that first drive of the game last week against the Jaguars. Just, hey, moving. Ooh, boom, throw here. Ooh, wait, I got a little pressure. Oh, jump throw. Oh, wait, I'm moving, and now I'm being thrown to the ground, and boom, I still throw it on the money. As long as he can move within that realm there, he'll be okay. He's not going to be as dangerous as he normally is, but he's, it's like we talked about. One-legged Mahomes is probably still a top 10 quarterback in football. The other thing here that is giving the Chiefs problems are a little bit what I was just kind of trying to say the Chiefs need to do to the Bengals. The Bengals have every defense in the world. They do it all, and they're good at it all. That's why you and me believe Lou Anarumo should be a head coaching candidate. He's one of the best defensive minds in the game. And, part of that reason is probably because he plays Joe Burrow in that offense during training camp and OTAs, and he goes, damn, if I just play the same coverage a few plays in a row, they get to their plays, and I can't stop them. So, he's learned that the great quarterbacks, it's no longer just like, hey, this is what we do, and we're going to be sound and do it the right way. You can't beat any of the good offenses and great quarterbacks that way. And the Chiefs have had issues with all the coverages being thrown at them, like the clips we showed today, 3-man rush. Sometimes it's cover 3. Sometimes it's Tampa 2. Sometimes it's cover 3 and somebody's just man on Travis Kelce. Sometimes it's man-to-man and they double 2 guys, and it's still a 3-man rush. They do so much on that side of the ball, and they're great at zone and great at man. But where the Chiefs are different, Mike, and where we talked about this, and I think this Week 13 matchup was part of the lights going on for the Chiefs a little bit. They're not just a Mahomes show right now. Like we saw last week, they have a real tangible run game you have to defend for the first time in the Mahomes era. They can play smash mouth, and you can go, whoa, they ran it up the middle on us the last 2 plays for 25, 30 yards. Holy crap. So that is where I do look at this game a little bit to where if they can rely on the run a little, you can maybe simplify the Cincinnati Bengals to where they can't always worry about, we're going to play these coverages and have guys dropping all over the place. You start running, you start calling more basic defenses because you want to make sure, I want to make sure my guys are in place to get in the gap to stop the run. And that'll be something, Andy Reid's patience with the run, their success running the ball against a very good run-stopping defense. That'll be interesting to see if they can have a little success there just to open up the other things we talk about.
All right, let's get to it then. I don't know how long we've been going, but it's getting up on the top of the hour, and I think we didn't get started all
too late, maybe 10 minutes late.
Started the last hour.
Yeah.
So Pete says we're doing well. We don't have to take a break in this one. This is all continuous straight through, so we could go as long as we want or as short as we want, but, we got other things to do, including the impending call of nature, which is becoming a factor, quite frankly, for me. So let's get to it. Chiefs sitting, Pete, and not not for the reasons that Chris and I were discussing on PFT Live. Let's just leave it at that. And hovering will not be happening either. Okay, Bengals, Chiefs. 1-point favorite for these purposes are the Chiefs. Chris, give me your pick. Give me your score.
Well, like I was saying, I want to hit on this just before I do. Like the run game, screen games, all of that are going to be important for Kansas City. They are. And there's a part of me, too, that, I just wanted to add this, where the Mahomes injury, like we talk about so much, when the backup quarterback comes in, now the offensive coordinator goes, oh, wait, we got to help this guy out. We got to do this. This might add them, making them add a few more wrinkles to their game plan that maybe you wouldn't see on film because they go, well, we got to help Mahomes a little bit. I'm interested to see that aspect. And the other thing that bothered me about the first matchup earlier this year, and you heard me say this on PFT, and I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if it's Valdez-Scantling or Kadarius Toney or whoever, but there was a number of passing situations where the Bengals played to stop the 8 to 12-yard pass, where I'm going, oh my gosh, it's the Chiefs, and the safeties are 9 yards deep. This is unreal. Because it's like they were just waiting for the crossers or the fake crossers and the in-cut, and they were going to play that. Chiefs got to hit some deep balls to back them off a little bit too. And they haven't been great at that this year. All right, this game is so awesome. I can't wait for it, all right? Because I think it's legacy. It's two teams that are chippy. I think both locker rooms are selling to each other that nobody respects us and they don't expect us to win. And I think it's the first time the Chiefs can legitimately sell that to their locker room in a while, let alone they've never had a team where they look at and go, wait, we can't beat this team? I mean, what's going on here? And then there's the Mahomes-Burrow angle. Mahomes not at 100%. Bengals, probably the most complete team in the AFC, but I got to go with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs got playmakers. They're at home. I think they're going to be motivated. I got to see the Bengals offensive line one more game do what it did last week. I don't believe it all the way yet. So let me get my score here, but I'm picking Chiefs 24-20 over the Bengals, which will give it the Andy Reid Bowl, Eagles versus Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
And that would be one hell of a Super Bowl. All of these permutations would
pretty
be
good.
great. Bengals 49ers for the third time ever would be good. Bengals Eagles would be fascinating for a variety of reasons. Chiefs 49ers, of course, a rematch from 3 years ago. All right, look, the Bengals didn't just go into Buffalo and win a fluky game. They went in and kicked the shit out of the Bills on both sides of the ball. Held them to 10 and scored 27 in the snow with all the emotion and all the factors and all the intangibles favoring the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals went in and took it, and they thrive on that, going in and taking it. They love it. It's, at home in the playoffs, they
seem underwhelming,
and almost
right?
Lose.
I know, right?
They almost lost to the Raiders in the wild card round last year. It was a final drive by Derek Carr and company. It was remember that controversial call at the back of the end zone with the quick whistle with Joe Burrow rolling to the right when he threw the ball, and that may have been the difference in the game, even though it happened in the first half. Still, it hovered over it. It wasn't a convincing win. This year against the Ravens, it came down to that dive, and the ball comes out, and Sam Hubbard goes 98 yards the other way. But then they go on the road, and that's when they become guy who walks up to you, David. It's not just David getting lucky with a stone in Goliath's forehead. David goes up and takes Goliath's lunch money. That's what's amazing about it. It's not fluky. It's not weird. It's not wonky. It's not some bad call. It's just the Bengals show up and kick your ass like they did to the Bills on Sunday. So with Mahomes injured, and, it may just be you're trying to sell to everybody he's going to be fine, and then we're going to find out otherwise that he's not. He's still the best quarterback in football. He's still a notch above Joe Burrow. He's got an MVP award and a Super Bowl MVP award. Burrow's got neither, but Burrow's working on it. But I said after Sunday, the ease with which the Bengals beat the Bills, I am never picking against the Bengals again. Ever. Again. And I can't break that because I inevitably will. This time, I've got to go Bengals. 30-27, one of the all-time great conference championship scores, one that I hate. That was the final score of the 98 Vikings-Falcons game when the road team won in overtime. And wouldn't it be perfect if the game goes overtime? Tied at 27. And the Bengals win 30-27. That's my pick. I don't feel good about either one. And I wish we didn't have to pick these games. I want to just watch them and enjoy them with no rooting interest whatsoever based upon being right. Both these games are going to be awesome, Chris. I don't feel good about either pick, but I got to go until somebody can beat the Bengals.
I hear you.
I got to stick with the Bengals.
I hear you. I hear you there. It's there's a lot to respect about the Bengals.
Hey, you and I both abandoned one of our Super Bowl teams. I picked Chiefs-Packers as my Super Bowl. And usually my rule of thumb had been I always pick my Super Bowl team to win in the postseason until they're done because I picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But the season plays out, and you feel differently about it, and I feel differently about the Bengals.
Yeah, and listen, they're tough. They're gritty, like you talked about. They seem to thrive in these type of instances. So that's I understand it. Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.